So hello there and welcome to this first video as an introduction to GoCodeIt and Python programming. This is your first time here, this is the website and we are going to click on the Start Coding button to go to the exercise selection. Once you've done that, you're going to be presented with a list of topics or projects that you can learn about. We are going to start with the inputs and outputs topic, so just click on the little button on the left. These are our introduction exercises. There will be more coming soon, but for now we are going to click on the introducing print project. You can see there's a little V at the top right hand corner. This indicates that there is a video available, and if you want to access this video while you're doing the exercise, you can do by clicking on the button on the next screen. So here we go, I'm going to click the exercise. It's going to open the exercise in a new window, and here we are in the project screen ready to start our first little project. Just going to give you a little guide to the screen before we start. Up at the top you can see we can go back to the project selection screen just here at the top left hand corner. We can also go back to the main page, and we can also use the options button to open up the sidebar, and from there we can change the look of the code editor if we like. We can make it a little bit darker if we wish, and there are some color schemes there for you. I'm just going to stick to the standard default. We aren't going to pay too much attention to these at the moment because we don't need them. So we're just going to close the options button. On the right hand side you will see three buttons. We have the run button. Once you have completed your code in the code editor, we click the run button to start it. And if we think we have passed the test, so that is we have completed the project correctly, we can run the test button and it will tell us whether we have passed the tests or failed. And you can see on this occasion this particular exercise is expecting this as our output, but of course our program has not outputted anything. You must make sure that your output matches exactly what the test is expecting. We can check the output screen just there, so we can click on these tabs to get back to the description of the project. If we click on outputs, we are going to see what happens when the program is run, and we can also once again view what has happened with the test just over here on this tab. The submit button does not work at the moment, but it will be coming soon. However, if you click the submit button, it will still just run the tests. So today we are going to look at this little project just here. You can see that we have the video button there. If you want to watch this video at any time while you're doing this exercise, just click the video button and it will appear on your screen. But let's have a look at the instructions. So we are introducing the print command today. You can see that it says write a program that outputs the text as shown in the example below, and you can see that this is expecting us to print out a sequence of stars on separate rows. There is a little note at the bottom that says your program output will be checked when you run the tests, and it'll be marked correct only if it passes the set tests. It is very important that your output matches the expected output. So be very careful when you're producing your code, because we do expect it to match this exact output in order to pass the tests. So how do we get this to work? Well, the first command that we are going to introduce is a very simple one, and it is the print command. So on the left hand side in the code editor, I'm going to start entering my code and I'm going to enter print. It is this command that we are learning. In the brackets, I want to put whatever it is that I wish to output to the screen. And in this case, we are going to output something called a string or some actual text. And in this case, we want to put some speech marks. And let's just put hello world, which is a traditional thing that most programmers start with, and close our brackets. So you can see the print command is made up of the actual command, and then in the brackets we place whatever it is that we want to appear on the screen, and then we put inside the speech marks the words that we want to output. So this will output the words hello. Let's have a look what happens when we press the run button at the top right hand corner, and you can see it has output the words hello world. Now then, if we make any errors, we've got to be very careful with our spelling here, because if we make any errors, I'm going to just delete the T. The print command does not look like that. Now, obviously, I've introduced an error here because the print command must end with a T. It's not spelled P-R-I-N. Let's have a look what happens when I try and run this program. And you can see we get an error in the output, and it is telling us, or at least giving us an indication of where that error is. So on line 1, we have an error and it says print is not defined. Clearly it's not, so we just add the letter T there and we are good to go. So other errors that we might make, we've got to make sure that it is structured this way. What if we forget a speech mark? Let's see what happens now. You can see that it's changed color. It's kind of indicating that there is a problem. How is the program output going to change if we do that? Let's run the program. Let's try again. You can see that it says syntax error, bad input. So there's clearly a error in that line of code. So there we go, print hello world. So I'm going to print something else. Let's go print speech marks again. How are you? Let's put an additional speech mark there and close the brackets. Now let's run the program and see what happens. Let's just check that we have no errors. We don't. Let's run the program and see what happens. I think you can predict what we're going to see on the screen here, but let's run it anyway. And there you go. We see the text hello world and how are you? And that's because line 1 has output hello world and line 2 has output how are you? Let's just check our project. Well, a project expects our output to look like that. So clearly this is not what our output is going to look like. If we click the test button, it has still failed the tests. And if we check there, it is expecting the output to look like this, but this is the actual output from your program. Right, that is our introduction to using the print command. Make sure that you spell it correctly. Make sure that whatever it is that you want output is inside the speech marks. And if you want an additional line, you can just add another print command, so you can add further print commands underneath. Right, over to you. Let's see you complete this first exercise, introducing print, and make sure that your output matches this. So when you press the run button, your output should look like that, which is expected for the test. Feel free to pause this video. I am actually going to offer you the solution once you have had a go yourself. This should be pretty simple. Just have a little bit of a think about it. How are we going to get this output on the screen using just the print command? Pause the video now, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so here we are back. We are going to make the alterations necessary to our program. You should have this already. If you've run the test and they have passed, congratulations. But for those of you who just want a little bit of a helping hand, we want to print. It is that simple. And in this case, you can see that the first line is just printing a single star character. So let's put that in the speech marks. And then we can just continue doing that. So we are going to print the next line just underneath. And I'm just going to get a little bit lazy now, and I'm going to copy this code because effectively each line is just a duplicate of the last. And we are going to add the additional stars on the end, just like that. Now that looks like it's going to produce the output that we want. I'm just going to run it to check that that is the case, and you can see it looks a little bit like that. I'm feeling confident, so let's press the test button and see what happens. And you can see that it is now saying that the test has passed. When we click there, you can see that the expected output was this, and the actual output is that. Well done, everyone. That is your first command learnt in Python. That is the print command. Let's move on to the next exercise.